you for watching. This is the Losi DBXL. You might recognize it because I had it on the table quite a few times already, and I made a few videos about it. If you have seen those videos, you also know my general opinion on the car and on the platform. And today's video will be about what problems I ran into on the first run. It seems that when it comes to quality control, this car is really a hit or miss. There's a lot of people who have good experiences with the car. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them. I ran into quite a few issues already with the unboxing. If you want to check that video, have a look in the playlist. And today I took the car out a few months ago. Today I'm going to go over the issues that I ran into, and I'm going to fix those issues. I'm going to do this on a really tiny budget. This is, after all, an entry-level RC car, so I'm not going to spend a huge amount of cash on it to get it right up at par with my Losi 5, for example. I also think that isn't a fair comparison. If I do compare it to another car, I would compare it to my FG TR4. And when it comes to a budget entry-level RC, 5th scale, I would say that car really has my preference over this one. The TR4 isn't a car that breaks the bank, but it is a car that comes with a decent engine, really reliable drivetrain right out of the box. And I've used that car for a few months. There's honestly not one issue that I ran into. It performs well, it's reliable, it's fast, and it's a ton of fun to drive. I abused it, ran it really hard, tried to brake it, but I simply couldn't. This car, on the other hand, you can tell this is still the first tank of fuel, and after the heat cycling tank, that is. But this is still the first tank of fuel, and I didn't even manage to completely empty it because my steering servo stopped working. Today I'm going to go over what issues I ran into. Also going to see if I can find some issues that I haven't even noticed yet. I can tell, for example, over here on the steering arm, there's a bit of grinding going on. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but that's what we're here to find out. So I'm going to zoom in, show you some of the stuff that I think needs to be addressed. Other than the front shocks, which I fixed already before running it. Put some thinner shock oil in there just to give it a bit more bounce, because when I took the car out of the box, the shocks wouldn't rebounce at all. Now, on the first outing, I did have a bit of a hard hit with a fence, which caused the front steering to be completely non-responsive. It wasn't a hit that was anything out of the ordinary, at least I think. You know, these cars are meant to be driven hard, but it did blow up the entire steering. So today I'm going to find out what actually caused that. And by the looks of it, you can't see that from the angle up there, but I can. By the looks of it, it's a simple matter of the servo arm being stripped out. I'm not too keen on these two servos, pointing at the other one over here as well. There's two similar servos in here, Spectrum branded, and I don't like them, simply because they do not have the amount of power that they should have. Maybe they do have that initially, but if you run it for longer than 15 minutes, you simply miss the hold power, which caused my braking to be completely irresponsive as well after 15 minutes. So what I want to do is I want to swap these two servos out for some HiTec servos. This is a budget servo, the HS 805 MG metal gear servo. This is the same servo that FG runs in the TR4 for the steering, and I have no complaints whatsoever about this servo. And because it's a cheap one, I'm going to drop these two in the DBXL and see if that helps a tiny bit with the responsiveness and also with the reliability of the steering, for example. You can actually tell that here underneath the servo arm there are a few plastic bits laying around. So that's what makes me suspect that this is a simple matter of a stripped out servo arm. Again, these servos, they just lack the amount of power that they should have. You can tell that, yeah, this moves freely on the servo. So I'm going to take this off. I'm also going to replace that servo arm. HiTec always supplies their servos with some fresh ones, so there's nothing wrong in just replacing the whole lot. You can tell that this gear has just sort of consumed the entire internals of the servo arm. Let's take this entire servo out. While I'm at it, I'm also going to replace the throttle and braking servo. And that should help a lot already in getting this thing to be a bit more reliable. I opened up the receiver box to make sure I can actually reach the plug of the steering servo. Upon tracing back the wire, you know, it's really simple. You just pull this out. You got that entire lead free. This is actually a really snug fit. I'm not too. I'm quite impressed with the radio box on this thing, apart from the battery compartment being this small. The plastics used over here are sturdy enough to make sure you have no slop in that steering servo. So fitting a new one that actually works, yeah, will make a huge difference. Now over here I got the new servo. Don't be distracted by the wheel that's on top of it right now. You can tell that size-wise it's exactly the same as the Spectrum that I just took out. HiTec has been around such a long time with making servos. They offer a wide variety in big scale servos. This one is I think the cheapest one around. But this being HiTec and this being a Metal Gear servo, you know, you just know that it's a reliable product that will serve you a really long time. That's also a main reason I think why FG decided to put this thing in the TR4 as a steering servo. Just to show you the difference in servo speed, I installed a Y splitter. I don't know why, but you get one of these with that HiTec servo. What I will do is I'll hold them on top of each other, and it's only milliseconds, but if you actually run the car, it makes a huge difference. So you can tell that Spectrum servo, which is this one, really has trouble keeping up with the other one. You can tell it's constantly lagging behind a tiny bit. And this is with the stock receiver pack, so this is not a LiPo pack or anything. And already you can tell that there's a huge performance difference in that HiTec servo compared to the Spectrum. Just now on dismounting that steering arm, that servo arm, I noticed something which is a bit freaky. And that's this bit of wear on the Ackerman. So over here you got the servo saver, and then you got the Ackerman connecting one end of the pivoting of the steering to the other, making sure that both of those steering rods actually do their work if you engage the steering servo. So this bit goes underneath the coupler for the front drivetrain, which you can see over here. And I expected there was some sort of clearance issue over there with one of the drive pins or whatnot. I'm not sure if it's perhaps a grub screw that came undone. So that's also something that I want to check out, because this doesn't look like it's anything that is supposed to happen. Right here you see the damage I was talking about. This is not really ordinary wear, so if you see stuff like this happening on your car, it's always a good idea to just break it down and have a look what actually caused it. In this case it's a no-brainer. Let me show you. In the front over here, right behind that differential housing, you can see a CVD coupler. This thing does nothing else than transporting the power from the center differential to the front differential, and from there to the wheels. Now if I push the pin that goes through the center, you can tell that that one is loose, which means that one of these grub screws has backed out a tiny bit. I'm not sure if they come with Loctite from the factory, but it is a good idea if you do buy DBXL. Take these grub screws out, put some Loctite on them, tighten them all the way down, center these pins. That way you avoid getting damage to your steering the way I had it. And once all of this is Loctited up, I will do the same to the CVD coupler in the back. And then I know that that's at least secure, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. Well, there you have it. This is the old steering servo, this is the old throttle and braking servo. I'm ditching both of these because, well, I don't think that they're up to par. Installed those two HiTec servos with the metal gears. They're fast, they have a lot of hold power, and even on this tiny battery pack that comes with the DBXL, well, plenty of speed and I think plenty of hold. So I'm just going to test these. Have another 30 minutes run with the car and see if I got a lot of servo fading going on. I don't expect that I will because again, these are the servos that I also run in the FG TR4. Tidied everything up so far in the receiver box. Still running that stock pack that might be changed out in the future as soon as Killer RC has a LiPo pack out for the DBXL. But for a LiPo pack I would need to have a taller lid, and I believe that's something that they're working on. I also adjusted these two collets on the brake linkage just to make sure I don't have an excessive amount of slop going on, and also I made sure that the throttle, that the carburetor fully opens when I pull the throttle on it. I also checked the Ackerman, the clearance over there, tightened up that grub screw, put some Loctite on there. That way that pin is not floating around in that CVD system causing damage to the Ackerman, because that's not something that you want, and it can potentially completely jam up and ruin your entire drivetrain, because as soon as that thing jams and you still have full power going on from the engine to the center diff housing, this whole axle that goes to the front, it will just twist, possibly snap, and that's an expensive item to replace. I think that concludes part 1 of the upgrade series that I'm going to do on the Losi DBXL. Going to take it really step by step, address some of the most basic issues that I ran into with this car, and turn it into something hopefully reliable, fast, and also attractive to look at. If you want to follow along, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want to see some of the previous videos that I did on the Losi DBXL, and also the running video in which I actually bust up the steering servo and caused the damage that you've seen today, check out the playlist. If you want to know more about me or my company, HemiStorm Products, make sure to check us out on Facebook. There's a link in the description box. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you have any questions or suggestions, or maybe even ideas for a color scheme, because I am going to paint that body, leave me a comment in the box below and I will try to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Have fun with your RCs, and I hope to see you around.